Imagine this. A famous actor claims he was brutally attacked in a hate crime. A noose around his neck. Slurs shouted. Chemicals poured on him. The world rushed to his side. But within weeks, police accused him of faking it all. Was Jussie Smollett a victim of hate or the mastermind of one of the biggest hoaxes in America? The truth is darker, stranger, and far more complicated than you've been told. Stay with me as this story unravels so you don't miss any part of the story. Jussie Smollett was no ordinary actor. By 2019, he was a household name, starring in the hit show Empire. He was admired not just for his talent, but for being outspoken about race, identity, and justice in America. But on a freezing January night in Chicago, his name would take on a very different meaning. It was January 29th, 2019. Around 2 a.m., Smollett left his apartment to grab food. Minutes later, he reported being attacked. According to him, two masked men hurled racial and homophobic slurs, beat him, poured a chemical substance on him, and placed a noose around his neck. It was brutal. It was horrifying. And in a nation already struggling with racial tension, the news hit like wildfire. Celebrities, politicians, activists, everyone rushed to condemn the attack. Smollett was seen as a victim of a hate crime, and his story dominated headlines across the world. But soon, cracks began to appear. Chicago police initially treated the case with urgency. They combed through surveillance footage, interviewed witnesses, and retraced Smollett's steps. But something wasn't adding up. The cameras in the area, hundreds of them, captured almost everything that night. And yet, they couldn't find any footage of the attack itself. Then came the odd details. Smollett kept the noose around his neck until police arrived. He still had his phone with him, but refused to hand it over for investigation. And his story seemed to shift in small but significant ways. Police grew suspicious, and what they uncovered next changed everything. Two men entered the picture. Abimbola and Olubanjo Osundairo, brothers of Nigerian descent, both linked to the entertainment world. They knew Jussie personally. After being taken in for questioning, they dropped a bombshell. They claimed Jussie had paid them to stage the attack. According to their testimony, Jussie wanted to boost his career and secure sympathy, believing the scandal would put him in the spotlight and strengthen his bargaining power with Empire producers. The public reaction was explosive. How could someone fake such a thing, and why would he risk everything? What began as an outpouring of support flipped into outrage. Smollett was accused of manipulating America's deepest wounds for personal gain. The hashtags changed from Justice for Jussie to Smollett Hoax. Cable news shows debated endlessly. Social media was merciless, and Jussie went from victim to villain almost overnight. But Jussie insisted on his innocence. He claimed the brothers were lying, that he truly had been attacked, and that the system was out to destroy him. In March 2019, Smollett was charged with 16 counts related to making false reports. But in a stunning twist, prosecutors suddenly dropped the charges. It looked like he had walked free, but the decision sparked outrage from the police and the mayor of Chicago, who called it a slap in the face of justice. People demanded accountability, and Smollett's legal troubles were far from over. By 2021, he faced a new trial. This time, prosecutors pushed hard, and in December, he was convicted on 5 counts of disorderly conduct for lying to police. For many, it seemed like the case was finally closed, but Smollett wasn't done fighting. In 2022, he was sentenced to 150 days in jail. Yet within just 6 days, he was released while his appeal moved forward. And in 2024, in a move that stunned both supporters and critics, his conviction was overturned. The system that once branded him a liar was now being forced to take another look. Fast forward to August 2025. Netflix drops The Truth About Jussie Smollett. For the first time, viewers see never-before-seen footage, fresh interviews, and new evidence that challenges what many thought they knew. The docuseries raises hard questions. Did police rush to judgment? Were the Osendero brothers telling the full truth? And why did the system bend so many times in this case? Just when the world thought the Smollett saga was over, it was back, bigger than ever.
The heart of the prosecution's case rested on the testimony of Abimbola and Olabinjo Osendero. They claimed Jussie Smollett paid them $3,500 to stage the attack, and that he even rehearsed it with them. But the Netflix documentary revealed a problem. Their accounts weren't always consistent. At times, their descriptions of how events unfolded contradicted each other. Small details changed, like what was said, who did what, and how the scene was planned. Skeptics argue, if Jussie Smollett was guilty beyond doubt, why did the state rely so heavily on witnesses whose stories shifted? The Chicago Police Department was relentless. They spent over $130,000 investigating the case and later sued Smollett to recover costs. Officers publicly expressed frustration, calling the alleged hoax a slap in the face to victims of real hate crimes. But critics pointed to another issue: the speed with which police turned suspicion on Smollett. Some argued that investigators may have been more focused on proving a hoax than following every lead. The Netflix doc hinted at overlooked footage and testimony that never made it into trial, raising the question, did investigators cherry-pick evidence to fit the narrative they believed? This wasn't just a crime story. It was political. The case exploded in 2019 during a tense cultural moment in America, where issues of race, sexuality, and hate crimes were at the center of national debate. Politicians weighed in quickly, some supporting Smollett, others condemning him. Behind the scenes, there were whispers of pressure from city officials, prosecutors, and media executives. Why were charges dropped so suddenly in 2019? Who influenced that decision? And why did the case resurface years later? The documentary suggests this wasn't just about one man's alleged lie. It was about the system itself, law enforcement, politics, and the media all clashing in one explosive story. The media played a powerful role. At first, Smollett was hailed as a brave survivor. Headlines screamed of an America poisoned by hate. But once police turned on him, the same outlets flipped. He was mocked, ridiculed, and branded as the man who staged a fake hate crime. Netflix's documentary points out that ratings skyrocketed whenever his story was on screen. Networks had a vested interest in keeping the scandal alive. For Smollett, it meant trial by media before he ever stepped into a courtroom. Then came the 2024 bombshell. After years of legal battles, Smollett's conviction was overturned on appeal. The appeals court ruled that his rights had been violated during trial, with errors in jury instructions and mishandled evidence. Legally, this reset the narrative. To some, it was proof the system had been stacked against him. To others, it was simply a technicality. But the fact remains, the guilty verdict that defined him was wiped away. Throughout it all, Jussie Smollett never backed down. He maintained his innocence, insisting he was attacked and that the Osendero brothers betrayed him. In interviews, he described the toll the scandal took on his life, his career destroyed, his reputation shattered, his freedom threatened. Supporters point to the fact that no definitive proof was ever shown that he staged the attack. Yes, the story had inconsistencies, but does inconsistency equal guilt? Critics fire back, if Smollett didn't orchestrate it, why would two men close to him testify in such detail about planning the hoax? And this is where the case still divides America. Why were the charges dropped the first time? Did the police rush to judgment, or were they correct to doubt his story? Were the Osendero brothers motivated by truth or their own interests? And perhaps the biggest question of all, if Smollett was innocent, then who really attacked him that night? The Netflix documentary doesn't give a definitive answer. Instead, it leaves the audience wrestling with the same contradictions that haunted the case from day one. At its core, the Smollett saga isn't just about one man. It's about America. It's about the deep divisions in how we see truth, justice, and race. It's about the power of media to build someone up and tear them down. It's about a justice system that can convict, overturn, and yet never deliver closure. Smollett's name may fade over time, but the questions his case raised will linger for years to come. So what do you believe? Was Jussie Smollett the mastermind of one of the most infamous hoaxes in history? Or was he a victim twice over, first of an attack, then of a system determined to make him a villain? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We have more true crime deep dives coming, exposing the cases that shock, divide, and reveal the truth about justice in America. Because sometimes the biggest crime is not the one you see, but the truth you never hear.